Why does falling asleep feel like falling off a cliff? So, picture this. You had a long day. You're finally in bed. Your blanket is perfect, your pillow is perfect, the room is dark, everything is calm. You start drifting off, floating into that soft, cozy nothingness, and then out of absolutely nowhere, your whole body jolts. Your leg kicks. Your arms fly out. Your eyes snap open and your heart is pounding like you just dodged a bus. And the wildest part? Nothing happened. You were just lying in bed. So why did your own body just try to save you from a fall that never happened? Hi, I'm Potato, and today we're going to figure out why your brain thinks bedtime is secretly a life or death situation. Stick with me because this one gets seriously cosmic by the end. I promise. First, let's name the thing. That jolt has an actual scientific name, a hypnic jerk, sometimes called a sleep start. And no, it's not just you being dramatic. Studies suggest somewhere between 60 and 70% of people experience this at some point. So if you thought you were broken, you're not. You're just extremely, wonderfully human. Here's what's actually happening inside your body when that jolt hits. As you fall asleep, your brain slowly powers down different systems, kind of like a building turning off its lights floor by floor at the end of the day. Your muscles relax, your breathing slows, your heart rate drops. Your brain waves shift from the fast, busy patterns of being awake into slower, rolling patterns. This transition is called the hypnagogic state, and it's basically the fuzzy border between awake potato and asleep potato. But here's the catch. Different parts of your brain don't always agree on the schedule. Some parts are already halfway into sleep mode, while other parts are still wide awake, monitoring the world like a nervous security guard who refuses to clock out. And sometimes, right in that messy overlap, your brain's motor control center misreads the signals. Your muscles are relaxing and your breathing is slowing down, and for a split second, part of your brain interprets that as something dangerous. It thinks, wait, why is everything shutting down? Are we falling? And so it fires off an emergency signal to your muscles. Wake up, catch yourself, move. That's the jerk. That's the leg kick, the gasp, the flailing arm. Your brain basically pressed the panic button by accident. Now here's where it gets really interesting because there's a theory about where this reflex actually comes from, and it's not really about your bed at all. It's about trees. Millions of years ago, way before couches and mattresses existed, our early primate ancestors slept up in trees. Sleeping in a tree is a fantastic way to avoid ground predators, but it comes with one giant design flaw. If your muscles relax too much while you're asleep, you can literally fall out of the tree. So evolution, being the ultimate overprotective parent, may have installed a safety feature. The theory goes like this. As your muscles started to relax for sleep, your brain would double-check, just in case, by triggering a sudden full-body twitch. If you were secretly slipping off a branch, that twitch would snap your muscles tight and your grip would tighten before you fell. It was basically a built-in, "Are you sure you're safe?" alarm. And here's the thing about evolution. It doesn't delete old software just because you don't need it anymore. Humans haven't slept in trees for a very, very long time, but the ancient safety alarm is apparently still installed somewhere deep in our nervous system, still running quietly in the background, just in case. So every time you get that jolt in bed, you might be experiencing a leftover survival reflex from an ancestor who lived in a completely different world, sleeping on a completely different kind of bed. Kind of wild that your body is still bracing for a fall that hasn't been a real danger in millions of years, right? But stick with me because this idea of falling and not landing actually shows up in a much, much bigger place than your bedroom. It shows up in space. Here's a question that sounds ridiculous at first. What does it feel like to be an astronaut floating around inside the International Space Station? Most people assume astronauts are floating because they're far away from Earth's gravity, out where gravity doesn't reach anymore. That feels logical, right? Farther away, less gravity, floaty astronauts. Except that's actually not true. The International Space Station orbits at around 400 kilometers above Earth, and at that height, gravity is still almost as strong as it is down here where you're sitting right now. So if gravity is still grabbing them, why on earth are astronauts floating around like they're weightless? The answer is the single wildest sentence in this whole video. astronauts are floating because they are constantly falling. I know. Let that sit for a second. The International Space Station and everyone inside it is in a permanent, non-stop free fall toward Earth. All the time. Every single second of every single day. And they are never going to hit the ground because of one clever trick: speed. Here's the trick. Gravity is always pulling the space station downward, toward Earth, exactly like it pulls you downward when you jump off a diving board. But the space station isn't just falling straight down. It's also moving forward, sideways, incredibly fast, at about 28,000 kilometers per hour. So as gravity pulls it down, the curve of the Earth is also dropping away beneath it at almost exactly the same rate. Picture throwing a ball straight out in front of you. It arcs downward and eventually lands on the ground. Now imagine throwing that ball so unbelievably hard and so unbelievably fast that by the time it curves downward, the ground has already curved away underneath it, because Earth itself is round. The ball keeps falling forever, but it never actually gets closer to the ground, because the ground keeps disappearing at the same rate. That, right there, is an orbit. It's not floating in the sense of no gravity. It's falling so fast and so far forward that you just keep missing the planet over and over, forever. So astronauts aren't defying gravity at all. They're experiencing gravity in a completely different way than you and I do, because they are permanently falling and permanently missing the ground. That never-ending fall is exactly why they float. Their bodies are behaving exactly the way your body behaves for that half second in your bed when your muscles first go soft and your brain briefly, mistakenly, thinks you're falling. Now here's the fun twist to bring us all the way back down to Earth. When astronauts return to Earth after months in orbit, some of them report that lying in a regular bed feels strange, even uncomfortable for the first few nights. Their brains and bodies had adjusted to that constant free-fall sensation of space, where nothing pulls you down into a mattress. Coming back to solid ground, with real gravity holding them firmly against their bed, is the reverse experience of that hypnic jerk. Instead of a brief false alarm about falling, some astronauts have to relearn what it feels like to simply, safely land. So the next time you're lying in bed and your body suddenly jerks awake for absolutely no reason, you're not broken, and you're not imagining it. You're running a genuinely ancient piece of evolutionary code, a leftover alarm system built for tree branches that no longer exist. And somewhere above your head, right now, there are astronauts experiencing a version of that exact same falling sensation, except for them, it never stops, and it never needs to, because falling when you're going fast enough is just another word for floating among the stars. If your brain just did a tiny jolt reading that last line, honestly, that's fair. Mine did too, and I'm a potato. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If your brain enjoyed this little trip from your pillow all the way to orbit, stick around, because the universe has a lot more weird, wonderful surprises like this one hiding in plain sight. I'll see you in the next video.